Okay, I'm going to give you a prime example of how Africans are much different than Black Americans, okay? Just in the way they think, okay? And I can give this opinion, okay? And I'm not being racist. I just know the difference between the two cultures. Now, I'm going to talk about it in my profession, which is law. Okay, if someone comes to me and they tell me they want to be a lawyer, Black Americans versus an African, right? A Black American, why you want to practice law? Man, I saw how my people were done wrong. I want to give back. I just think about the ancestors and they've had to overcome and what they had to do. And I just see how, the law treats Black people or my people. That's usually my people. I see how the law treats my people versus how they treat everyone else. And I want to make a change for my community. That's typically what I hear from Black Americans. Now, if you ask an African the same thing, it's all about personal mobility or the mobility of their personal family. It's not about the community as a collective. It's about their parents, pressure from their parents, and upward mobility. And they usually won't do anything that has to do with social justice or elevating the Black community. Neither is wrong. It's just a different process. It's a different mindset, right? So going back to what I say about delineation, when you have Black Americans who think about the community, the whole, and you have others that come in and able to benefit off of the whole, but yet they don't give back into that energy because their thinking is different. And nothing is wrong with it, but you have to recognize that it's two different mindsets. And this is not for divisive purposes, it's just so you can understand.
Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and I hope you are all doing good. When we talk about Black identity, too often it's treated like one single story, but the truth is being African and being Black American are two different experiences. And today, more people, especially Black Americans, are bringing these differences into the spotlight, not to divide us, but to make sure we finally start having honest conversations. So guys, let's continue watching these clips. I'm going to roll the clips, then I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Stay tuned.
Black American people need to stop identifying as African American. Yeah, I said it. We are not African. That is the problem. That is why Africans feel so comfortable coming in and infiltrating Black spaces like Essence Fest, because they think we all one and the same, one band, one sound. No, 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 no. We are natural born American citizens. We've been here for 4 or 5 centuries, 400 years plus, and we still not identifying as Americans? We're not Africans. That's why they come over here and they feel so comfortable with disrespecting us, because they think they super Africans, right? And we the little peon Africans because they got the direct source of the motherland and they know where they come from and they roots and all that stuff. Of course you do. One generation ago, you got here yesterday. You are the true African American Africans. Y'all come here from Ghana, from Senegal, from wherever, Ethiopia, whatever. Y'all come here and you get your citizenship or plant your roots, whatever. You're Africans dash Americans, African Americans. Black Americans are not Africans. I don't have no Africans in my family. Period. I'm from California. My dad is from California. My grandma's from Wichita, Kansas. My great grandma's from Wichita, Kansas. I can go back generations of Americans. That is where the confusion is coming from. And then people come from different countries and they come in our home, our house. This is our house.
Black Americans. The problem I see is that Black Americans are always looking for a problem where there is no problem. You sit back, you absorb this inferiority complex, and then you look for someone, the vulnerable ones, and then you heap your inferiority complex state on them. Africans are not the only immigrant in America. There are lots of nationalities in America, not just people from Africa. But because people from Africa are blacks, some Black Americans always believe that these Black people who come from Africa are taking space. They are feeling superior. They are this, they are that. That is not the case. The case is that when these Black people see these other Black people, they believe that where you are is where I am supposed to be. Now, because I'm not where you are, and you are feeling like now you are better than me, so that means that you are looking down on me. When in reality, everyone is facing their lane. Everyone is doing what they can to do just to contribute to the society and be useful to their family. This is the problem with Black people. Black people believe that they are always in competition. They always believe they are in competition. The same position where a black African is. There are probably also white Africans in that same position in America. But black Americans never see those ones. They are more concerned of the black Africans. The richest man in America and in the world is from South Africa. He's white. Just imagine if he was black, probably from Ghana or from Nigeria. All hell would be broke loose. Black people are the same everywhere. Always, always believing that someone is taking their place. Black people are not serious. Thank you for watching.
I'll reply to this comment because it's a good segue to my next point. I just want to say I don't have any problems with this comment. I'm not personally attacking this person. I just grabbed a random comment. A bunch of people said the same thing. I just grabbing one, so it's not personal. Just want to put that out there. So I disagree. African American and Black American are not the same thing at all. The reason I know that most of us understand that is often when people say, oh, what are you? Or ask questions of like, oh, no, I'm Black. Or like they'll say, oh, that's a Black people thing to do. They don't say that's an African American thing to do. They don't say that's an African thing to do. They say, oh, no, that's a Black thing to do. I think we understand that there's a difference between Black culture and African culture, and they're not the same thing. African American is a PC term that was created so that people didn't feel uncomfortable calling people Black, essentially. I would also just like to say, hot take, but we all know it, Africans do not like Black Americans. I know people are like, oh, well, that's not the case. I think that a lot of the newer generation, that is not the issue, but a lot of the older generation, they think they uphold the same stereotypes that all the other groups have about Black people, that we're lazy, we don't work hard enough, we want to move off the system. You will hear the same rhetoric said in the African community. Now, not all of them say this. I'm going to put that out there. But it is something that has commonly been said. I don't think Africans consider themselves Black, and I don't think Blacks consider themselves African. So to say that we are the same is crazy. Now, I understand it's easy to say African American and use it as a blanket term, but even when we look on demographics, when you're checking off a box on a paperwork, it says Black/African American. So they're different. And to say that we're the same is kind of crazy. Anyway, let me know y'all's thought. Is it just me? Am I the only one am I reading too much into it? Let me know.
I would like for you so-called Black Americans to please stop believing this nonsense that any so-called indigenous background and heritage you have comes from these people who call themselves Native Americans. It does not. You have indigenous heritage because of your Black side, or what they call them Black. Black Americans are indigenous to America. What you got mixed in you is Asian. Those people who claim they Native American, those are Asians. So a full-on American indigenous person is a Black person. They don't have any Mongolian or Asian admixtures, because these people who call themselves Native Americans are Asians. They are Asians. You can look clearly at them and see that they trying to get you to believe something that's not right. What we seeing in our face, they trying to get you to believe, something that we not seeing. In other words, we not supposed to see their Asian features. We're not supposed to see that their Asian hair and features, the genotype and phenotype. But like I said, they quick to try and point out and say that we African, right? But we don't have no African features. We don't. Again, you could tell Africans from from so-called Black Americans, who are the real American indigenous people. America already had an indigenous people here before these Native Americans came here, before the white man came here, but even before the so-called African slave trade, which really didn't happen. But again, because they enslaved Black Americans, Black indigenous Americans. They didn't enslave no Africans. That's a lie. See, y'all gotta watch the lies that people are telling you, because all this stuff can be looked up. All is text for all this stuff that I'm saying. You don't have to believe nothing I'm saying. It's out there.
Y'all, white tea people colonized African American culture so much that not only have they stolen African American vernacular English, but they literally have stolen Black American Sign Language. We went from this, meaning clock it, to this. It gets to a point.
If Donald Trump sent all the African Americans back to where they came from, where y'all going? Where y'all going? You do know that Africans don't like African Americans, right? Right? I don't know about y'all, but I'm going back to Belize. Y'all, where y'all going?
Black Americans, have you noticed when people migrate, immigrate, or take refuge here from other countries, they always compare. They always say, hey, why y'all act like this? Why y'all dress like this? In my homeland, we don't do this. In my homeland, we don't wear that. In my homeland, I don't see, like, from my homeland, I don't see y'all doing this. I don't see y'all doing that. They always say what they don't see, what we do compared to what they do. Well, this is the question I want to ask you, Black Americans. Have you ever seen an African in Africa wear socks? Have you? Have you ever seen an African in Africa wear socks? Do they have socks in Africa? Yes or no? Because I never seen it before. I ain't gonna lie to you. I never seen an African wear socks in a day of my life. Barely in America. I don't even think I seen an African wear socks in America. Not alone videos and my personal experiences going out there. See, like everybody's barefooted. They wear flip-flops, or if they wear shoes or boots or something like that, ain't no socks in them. That's why they got that little scent to them all the time. Have you ever been around an African sometime? Because you know when you don't wear socks in your shoes, it smells a little bit. It smells like a wet dog sometimes. But I never seen an African wear socks. Why is that? Africans, why y'all don't wear socks in your homeland? What's the reasoning? Is there no access to socks out there? Black people, I think there's a financial gain. There's a market we can take out there to sell socks to the African people. We can introduce socks to them. Like a brother said to me yesterday, he said maybe they thought socks was gloves. Maybe they thought socks was gloves, because I did see them boxing. They got this little makeshift ring out there where they fight in the middle of a desert or something, and they put on socks as boxing gloves, because I guess they can't afford boxing gloves. But I want to know, have y'all seen an African wear socks? Or even in real life, have y'all ever seen them wear socks? That's what I want to know. Thank you.
So guys, we have had it all, and we in this video we are here exploring the real and often overlooked cultural differences between the Africans and Black Americans, from history to identity, traditions to perspectives. So we are just diving into what makes each group unique and why it's so important to acknowledge and respect those differences. Yeah, guys. So what we can start with, let's start with what connects us. Africans and Black Americans, we share a common ancestry that traces back to the African continent. But hundreds of years of history, the slavery, colonization, migration, and cultural evolution have created very different paths. For Africans, identity is often tied to a specific country, tribe, language, and culture. For Black Americans, identity was shaped through generations of survival, resistance, and creativity in a land where they were stripped of those original ties. That alone creates a very different cultural lens. Africans grow up surrounded by their language, foods, customs, and traditions. They know exactly where their ancestors come from. Black Americans, on the other hand, built a new culture from the ground up, from music and language to style and activism. Their identity is deeply rooted in struggle and pride. That's why certain things may mean something very specific to Black Americans that an African might not fully understand, and vice versa. So these differences don't make one better than the other. They simply tell different stories. So this all that brings the misunderstandings between the two. But here is where it can get complicated. Sometimes Africans and Black Americans don't fully understand each other's struggles. Some Africans might come to the United States with certain stereotypes about Black Americans, often shaped by media or colonial mindsets. Meanwhile, some Black Americans may feel that Africans don't acknowledge or respect their unique experiences. These misunderstandings can lead to tension, but they can also open the door to honest conversations if we are willing to listen. So why are Black Americans picking up? Today, many Black Americans are bringing these differences into the light, not out of bitterness, but because silence has allowed misunderstandings to grow. They are saying that our experiences matter, our cultures matter, and it deserves respect. Our culture matters and it deserves respect. By naming the differences, they are creating space for both pride and healing. There is unity through understanding. Acknowledging differences is not about division, it's about building bridges. Africans and Black Americans are part of a global Black community, but we can't truly unite if we ignore what makes each group unique. Respecting those differences helps us build stronger connections, deeper understanding, and a more powerful collective voice. So the next time we talk about Black identity, let's remember that it's not one story. It's many stories intertwined but distinct. And when we give each story the space it deserves, we don't weaken our bond, we strengthen it. So guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What differences or similarities have you noticed between Africans and Black Americans? Let's talk about it in the comments. So guys, of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of this video. This video is meant for educational purposes and also informatory purposes. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share the video for it to get to a wider audience and for someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe, hit that notification bell for more conversations like this. See you in the next one, guys.